You're looking at I'm out. You're looking at the last Englishman in England.
So it was just announced that Daryl Dixon Season 4 will be the final season of the Daryl Show, and I've seen people getting really panicky over it, but here is what I think, and what I think is going to happen next. Of course, make sure you press the like button on the video, and subscribe if you're new, and make sure you set that notification bell to all. So the way they've said it is Season 4 is set to just end Daryl and Carol's European journey. I think with them naming the show Daryl Dixon, because the only main character in the show was Daryl, shows how flexible they are on what makes a show. There are so many characters that need to return and need to reunite. I think if anything, this is good news for that big show that people want. Scott Gimple has spoken before about the dream being to have a season 12, to have all the characters in one show again, you know, with an annual run. It's what they said, this just ends Daryl and Carol's European journey. And even then it's not final, because yeah, there was Falou. What about Codron? He just ran off. What is that the last time we're going to see him? It really isn't that deep. But Morgan said he was going to go and look for Rick. You think they're not going to capitalise on that? I don't know why people think Morgan just won't appear again. Morgan to me is the biggest jackpot card, just waiting to be played. Daryl left to go and find Rick, and ended up getting a 4-season spin-off. It's not the last time he's going to be Daryl. Norman Reedus said at the San Diego Comic-Con panel, where this was announced, that his journey is far from over. He's not just talking about the next 2 seasons of Daryl, he's talking about after. Well, the last person that said that was Andrew Lincoln at the 2018 Comic-Con, and he was gone for 6 years, and he disappointed me.
My relationship with Mr. Grimes is far from over.
But no, Norman Reedus is ever present with The Walking Dead. It's not going to be like that. Yeah, that's just what I think, but we're going to back it up now. I think a big detail that people are missing is the 3rd season of Dead City was announced, but not as the final season. So a 4th season will happen. And with Daryl Season 4 starting filming already, Dead City Season 4 will come after. Assuming it gets renewed, which it probably will, because again, they've not announced the 3rd season of Dead City to be the final one. They have announced that Season 4 of Daryl will be. So if anything is going to be the big final end, it would be Dead City Season 4, and that's not going to happen. It's the least interesting spin-off. But with Dead City being essentially the only running Walking Dead show for a bit, that actually goes towards my idea of all the main characters going to New York to ask Negan for help to fight the New Walkers with his new army, assuming he does actually take control from the NPC's New Babylon. They still have so many gold mine cards to play.
Guess you were right. You could do this all by yourself.
This is
What we have to do.
So how could Daryl Dixon end the show? Well, it's all about Daryl and now Carol getting back home. We see on the way to the States from London, they get washed up in Spain. But after all this longing out, they're going to end up going back home, hopefully with Stephen Merchant's character, or I'm going to be depressed. I'm really happy because the trailer showed that he doesn't just die as soon as he shows up, so that's a positive. We could get Stephen Merchant and Rick. Which, by the way, I don't like that his character says he's the last Englishman in England. Hopefully that's just the character's point of view, rather than him being the mouthpiece to them making it a fact that the canon of the show is that he's the only one left. The princess character in the main show, when we first met her, said she was all alone in her city for over a year.
I haven't seen anyone in over a year, and the first ones I find seem like a bunch of meanies.
Does that mean that she's the only alive one in the USA? England and the UK is much smaller, but there's more to England than London, so I don't take what he says there as fact. And even then, I feel like people took the fact of England being the last to survive as them still surviving. In the season 2 finale of Daryl, where they revealed England survived it, we found out it didn't last in the same episode 2 minutes later. People mistook that.
Actually, Army took over and got things locked down pretty quick.
There is the possibility that it doesn't end with Daryl and Carol going back and something happens. Or they do go back, but we don't see them actually arrive to see all the other characters, a bit like what The Ones Who Lived did. Don't give a shit about them kids. But to be honest, if Daryl Dixon ends like that, it ends for another show to continue. I think that's what they should do. They need to keep people interested. It's became this meme or like this cheap thing where something has an end credit scene. But don't forget that, that's what they should do. It's not some cheap thing. You're keeping the fans of that project on their feet. The MCU is always on this sprint, even if it's a standalone thing, mostly unconnected. There's an end credit scene telling the viewer, this is what's next, look forward to that now. They should do it. I've waited this long to see Daryl and Rick again. Do it. I'm not one of those to cry about it. I loved that Lucille cliffhanger, waiting all year to find out what happened. Never has there been that much hype around the show, by the way. There were so many, I've never seen that before since. If I was doing YouTube back then, I would have sickened you. Now they could go the route of Rick sending the CRM over to them and saving them after Ash and Lorraine rent, go back and tell them where they are. The CRM runs into Falou, he says that they went to London, and they track where they went to and ask people, and so on, and they're saved last minute, which would be really cool, but again, that's so much that they could capitalise on in another show. There's 2 seasons left, it really could be that. Or Daryl and Carol do sail back with their new friends, or they do that and bring the new Walker type over, which I still think should happen. But there's one thing now that makes me think they wouldn't do that, and it's that it just seems too good and too cool. I've said before I like the Daryl show. I do think it's the best of the main show character spin-off shows, but they had Daryl in France where the new Walker was, where Dr. Jenner mentioned, and that's what they did. A delivery mission. It could have been so much more. Got some mid-showrunner to do it. What a shame. They don't seem to want to do the best thing, and they aren't scared of doing the most lame, most shameless stuff to jerk you around and keep you watching.
You said on the radio that time someone came back. Who was it?
It wasn't a person. It was a feeling.
So, with the next 2 seasons being final, the time when they stop pulling punches could be then. They're not making their shows and characters interesting. There is no sprint now. The shows don't run like they did. They slide and slump. I'm not saying The One to Live was all bad, and this is still one of my favourite Walking Dead scenes ever, but I don't care how much you liked it. The ending was so damaging. They had the most eyes on The Walking Dead they had in years. They had the coolest idea in the world, and they let it fizzle out. They catastrophically mistook the girls on Twitter wanting to see the kissing and the relationships as feedback. The ugly girls on Twitter don't care about quality or longevity. They made the Rick Return project a rom-com and colossally missed the mark. It's devastating. They didn't tease anything else. They've slowly killed the hype and potential they had. For now. Whatever they do after Daryl and Dead City, it needs to be a big power punch, bring Rick and Morgan back. I really thought when the main show ended they wouldn't play around like this, because it could get to the point where they can't play around, when AMC gets like another big thing going. It's simple, it's a TV show, why will people still care if it's not entertaining or interesting? I remember I said a few years ago now, they should listen to the right fans, and people are like, oh, it's presumptuous, but I don't care. They should do that. People don't want to see this. But what do you think? Do you think it will turn out to be a good time to end it? What other shows and stuff in the overall story do you think will happen? Would you want to see? Make sure you let me know what you think down below. And I just uploaded a new Walking Dead What If video, What If Tyrese Survived? One of my favourite characters, so go and watch that. If you want to know how I think the new Walker problem could happen and Rick asking Negan for help would work, make sure you go and watch this video that pops up on the top right of your screen right about now. I explain how I want the next phase to happen and roughly how I think it will all come together with all the main characters reuniting. I still think it's going to happen. Go and watch that. Press the like button on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new with the notification bell set to all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.
That pays all.
What?